Listen and tell me all your thoughts on God, 'cause I'd really like to meet her and ask her why we're who we are. And tell me all your thoughts on God, 'cause I'm on my way to see her. So tell me, am I very far? Am I very far now? Am I very far now?
Hey everybody, so it seems like every time the weather is nice and sunny, I always end up in black. And when I go outside, I look pale and just dead. And then when I wear my nice sunny, awesome colorful clothes, it's like rainy and dreary. And last weekend I wore my nice clothes and it was like 30 degrees outside. It's been crazy weather here in Ohio. So anyway, I wanted to introduce this sort of series that I've been thinking of and kind of trying to piece together slowly. And when I say series, I mean that in a very abstract way. A lot of you know that even though my schedule for work is set, it never really changes unless I pick up or call off or request off. It's still like I work these days this week and then I'll work the opposite days next week and then I repeat the cycle. So it's kind of hard for me to do like a video on every Wednesday or, put my videos on specific days. At least right now, because I never have the same days off every week. So it won't be that kind of series. This is going to be kind of more like my paranormal blogs, which I haven't done for years. It's going to be more like, whenever the hell I feel like doing a video on the subject, I will. And I'm not sure how many videos there will be. I have at least like 2 pages full of subjects right now in my notebook. But I wanted to introduce it to you guys now and go ahead and make the first video that I wanted to kind of jump up off of it. And it's going to be about my knowledge involving granny craft, or as a lot of us know it, Appalachian witchcraft or Appalachian magic. Now, I am from the foothills of Ohio. A lot of you guys know this. I am from southern Ohio. The village I lived in was 30 minutes away from the nearest city or town, which was, not very big at all. Appalachian magic has been a part of my life since I can remember. I had a grandmother who, she didn't call herself a witch, and that's the thing about Appalachian witchcraft is a lot of people who practice don't really call themselves witches or magi. They're just normal people that, not to say that witches and magi are not normal, but we're not. But they're just normal, everyday people that go on with their lives and they try and find solutions to everyday problems. And, some of these solutions tend to be a little bit magically enforced or paranormally empowered. And, what made me think about doing this series on Appalachian magic is I have an almanac, and I read a section in it in which it talked about bottles and how bottles used to be hung on tree branches to capture evil spirits. And I also read an article that Devin Hunter, one of my witchy crushes, but Devin Hunter posted a video on Facebook a long while back that had something to do with Appalachian Magick and Granny Magic. And Devin Hunter is, if you don't know him, he's the host of the Modern Witch podcast, and he is from Ohio himself, and he's actually coming back this summer to release his book. I'm super excited. Sorry, that was an ugly face, but I am super excited about that, and I'm hoping to go. But reading up on that and everything, I kind of realized, I was like, I have a lot to bring. Not a lot, but I have a bit to bring to the table involving Appalachian witchcraft. I grew up in Appalachia all my life. There's a lot of stuff that I'm sure a lot of my YouTube friends, I know KK Witchy has shared some things that, relate to Appalachian witchcraft every now and then, and it's a very interesting tradition. So I wanted to bring that forth and up to the front and kind of get in touch with my roots a little bit, and start sharing my experiences and all that with you. So first things first, for the first video for this Appalachian Magic, what have you, I'm going to explain to you some of the history. So Appalachian Magic, or Granny Magic, if you want to call it that, is specifically centered in Appalachia and around Appalachia. A lot of its history, culture-wise, comes from, not only European practices, but also Native American and even African practices. So a lot of your hoodoo traditions and your voodoo traditions are going to share a lot of similarities with Appalachian witchcraft. Slaves and your pioneers who interacted with Native Americans, especially up north. A lot of that is going to show through, and influence each other. So a lot of the stuff that I mention is going to be stuff that I grew up around, especially at first. But first thing I wanted to bring up were these babies. Now, if you don't know what this is, and I'm sure Derry and Hearthflower know what this is, because I actually sent the some of these in their love mail that I sent out. But this is called a Buckeye, and it's also known as a horse chestnut. I've never ever heard anybody call it a horse chestnut, but here in Ohio we call it a Buckeye. And I've known about Buckeyes most of my life. It's a nut that comes from a tree, a Buckeye tree, and right around fall time they fall from the tree, and you can walk around and find them. It gets its name from, or at least the Buckeye name, it gets the name the Buckeye because of obviously its characteristics physically. The dark shell is pretty consistent up until one point. All Buckeyes have this kind of lighter circular spot on them, and they look like a buck's eye, or a male deer's eye. So that's where they get their name, Buckeye. Some interesting things about the Buckeye. For one, I live in Ohio, and if anybody knows anything about Ohio, we are the Buckeye state. This is the state plant, I guess. OSU, Ohio State University, the main college for Ohio, basically, aside from OU, which is where I go. Their mascot is the Buckeye, believe it or not. It is literally a Buckeye. And at first you think, well, why would a school make their mascot a nut? That is so interesting and different. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to look into the Buckeye, because being from Ohio, and especially moving up north towards Columbus and being really close to Columbus, everything is Buckeye. You see like almost every store, every drugstore, every, little market has OSU memorabilia. This is, we are Buckeyes. If you're not a Buckeye, you're not in the club, basically. But, so Buckeyes, the word and, the image is around here a lot. And so I wanted to look into that. And looking into that, I found some very interesting things magically. So, way back when, right around the time that the Buckeye was getting its name, young men used to carry these in their pockets. And it had a little bit to do with its correspondences. One of the most popular correspondences, if you go and you Google online correspondences for a Buckeye, you're going to see good luck, prosperity. Prosperity is the big one, okay? So that stems from this time, way back when guys used to carry these in their pocket. Now, not only does this look like a Buckeye, or a buck's eye, but it can also be said that this resembles, at least, shape and texture-wise, that of a male genitalia. It's round, it's smooth, and they're about the right size. So, guys would keep these in their pockets and carry them around with them so they would get lucky. And by get lucky, I don't just mean regular, prosperity and good luck and money and all that. I mean they would carry these around to get laid, So there's that. So there's your prosperity and your luck bit of it from way back when. Now, that could explain why Ohio State has, a Buckeye as their mascot. Everybody wearing the Buckeyes, get that good luck and prosperity going so we can win our games and everything else for football. But one of the correspondences that I really love, that I feel more connected to when I feel the energies of a Buckeye, is protection. You won't find many resources. I just dropped it. Big snap. You won't find many resources online about the protective properties magically of Buckeyes, but it's kind of a common sense thing for me as well. Buckeyes are poisonous. You should not eat a Buckeye. Now, you're not gonna crack into that very easily. So that's one of its protective, qualities. It's got a really hard shell. So humans, unless you really, really wanted to get into it, would not just bite into this thing and eat it. But even if we could, they're poisonous. You really shouldn't eat it. It won't kill you, but I'm pretty sure it'll make you pretty damn sick. So, the protective shell and the poison, speak English, of the nut represents in and of itself protection. The roundness, the shape, the circle on it, all symbols of protection or unity. I like to think that making a charm with, red string and hanging it on your door or, in a specific room of your house is going to, aid in your protective magic and your protective energy. Now, it's also interesting to think about the Buckeye as poisonous and protective when it comes to Ohio State football. Maybe that's why the Buckeye is, I should look into that specifically. Why did the Ohio State choose the Buckeye? It's also really interesting that they're poisonous because, especially around here, we have candies that people make in which you get some peanut butter and some sugar, and you basically, you know, make a mixture of that and you roll it up. It's like a dough consistency, like a real light dough consistency, and you roll it into a ball, and then you refrigerate it, and it's essentially a butter ball. Then you melt chocolate, and then you can dip the butterball in the chocolate and leave, like, you know, some of the butterball showing, and put it in the fridge again to let it all harden, and that's a Buckeye, and that is a super popular treat during the holidays and fall here in Ohio. It's pretty interesting though, because these are poisonous! So, some things you can do with the Buckeye. You can, like I said, hang it on a red cord or string and hang it around your house or on your front door for protection. You can wear it to get lucky, I guess, if you want to do that. You can wear it for protection. You can wear it for prosperity. You can use it in mojo bags, as I've done, or magic spell bags, or spell satchels. I keep mine, my personal one, which I sat somewhere, I keep mine in my witchy room personally on my bookshelf in front of my books. That being said, you can also use Buckeyes as a offering or a gift to the gods or the god, especially to, you know, the Wiccan god, if that's who you follow. You know, with it being associated with a buck's eye or a male deer's eye, and male genitalia, you know, that's a strong connection to the god energy, and so you can leave it on your altar for as an offering to him, or you could also use it for spells involving fertility, you know, anything prosperity, even possibly just sexual abundance in your relationship or what have you. So I got quite a few of these. I wanted to go out and find a couple of these, or a good box full of these out in the wild, but I haven't had the opportunity to do that yet. Like I said, they drop right around fall time, so later on this year maybe I'll do that. But I do have a small box of these, and I've been handing them out for love mail and goodies and stuff. So, but anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, and I hope you enjoyed this little tidbit and this little information. For those of you that I gave Buckeyes to, or for those of you that have Buckeyes in your area, which is kind of more eastern, Appalachian, you know, it's really Ohio. I think there's some down in the south a little bit. I'll try and find a map and try and post it. For some reason, posting pictures in my YouTube videos has been difficult for me lately, or I'll forget to do it. So I'll try to post a map. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope everyone's having an awesome week. I hope everyone had an awesome Friday the 13th last weekend. Blessed be.